Guys, in this video, I'm going to share with you my ultimate Propstream tutorial. I'm going to walk you through step by step on how we evaluate properties and, more importantly, how to pull lists and the most important filters. Okay, guys, so without further ado, let's jump into Propstream, and we are going to do the ultimate tutorial on how to use Propstream for your wholesaling business. So we're going to break this down into 3 segments. The first one is going to be on how to pull your comps and basically do a quick analysis of property. And then number 2, we're going to show you how to use the list feature to pull lists and what filters to use. And then the last section, I'm going to show you how to use driving for dollars and how you can use that within your Propstream. So if you guys want to go ahead and get access to the same service, go to listrei.com. You get a 7-day free trial period. You're crazy if you don't use it. So without further ado, let's kind of roll in here. So the first thing you do is, if you have a property and you want to evaluate it quickly, say it's yourself and you just got done talking to a motivated seller, the first thing I want to do before I ever get in a car or go see a seller is I'm going to take the notes. So what I do is take whatever notes I got from the seller. So you should have some sort of sales process where you ask qualifying questions. Your questions should go in order of importance. That's another video. So you have the information and you want to do a little research on the property. So the best thing to do is just take the property address. So once you start searching, it'll try to fill it in for you. But like, here's one in Fort Lauderdale. I have no idea. I know nothing about this property. I'm a Florida guy. Let's see if it pulls it up. Now that spinning wheel to the right it's just thinking. So remember, it's cloud-based. So just give it time and there it pops up. So this is our motivated seller. And I get a quick snapshot of it. Here's the address. Really cool because it's going to give you, I guess what you call a satellite. I want to assume that comes off the property appraiser site, but it doesn't because it's from above. So it's probably like a Google image, and it's going to give you an instant estimated value, and it's going to tell you it's off market. That's not always accurate, but if it's on MLS, it'll typically pop up right there. It's going to tell you it's corporate owned, which typically means an investor is going to own it. And the occupancy is non-owner occupied, which means that the owner doesn't live there, which implies it's an absentee owner, which to you means it's most likely a rental property. And then it's going to give you the pertinent information: a 2-bedroom, 1-bath, 14 square feet. That usually means under air and the year it was built. I like this because it's a really quick snapshot of what's going on with the property. So if the seller says, I'm looking, 180,000, 200,000, we might have something to work on depending on what the repairs on. If they say they need 400,000, I'm probably not. I'm going to just go back to my qualifying questions. Remember, you cannot make people being motivated, but this saves you a ton of time. This is also dynamite when you guys are looking to do virtual marketing, because you don't have to be a complete expert on the market. You can at least get like a starting basis. So let me slide this up here. Now, if you go down there, it's also going to give you some average comps in the neighborhood, 256, and it's going to give you an average rental. So it's around $1,800 for a 2-1 in Fort Lauderdale for this size property. And then if you go down here, it's going to give you MLS comps, neighborhood comps, any type of pre-foreclosures and foreclosures. It just gives you a snapshot. Remember, in the old days, we actually had to use realtors to do this. So guys, this is so powerful. It puts so much at your fingertips and saves you so much time. Let me show you some other key features that you can do with it. Sorry, I got to keep moving this around. So if we click on details, sorry about that. Okay, the details are coming up now. And when you see it spinning, just wait. Do not keep pushing the buttons. It doesn't go any faster. I've tried it. And what the details do is it's basically going to give you pertinent information on the property in regards to let's see here. It'll come up. Tax information. So this is really cool. So let's go through it. So once again, you already got this summary up here. Here is one of my favorite parts of Propstream, and pay attention to this. Length of ownership. It's going to tell you they've owned it for 3 years and 3 months. They purchased it cash. So this will help you verify what your motivated seller told you. If they say they paid cash, it makes sense. It tells you the county. It wasn't a short sale. So if they paid cash, you know there's plenty of room to negotiate because most likely there's no debt, mostly being a mortgage on the property. So then this does a more in-depth analysis. I don't use this as much. These are estimated values, last year's estimated value. So it's trying to tell you where the appreciation's going. We're not speculators, so I'm going to advise you to kind of stay away from that. If there was a mortgage on it, one of the other keys is it'll tell you how long the mortgage has been in play for, and it's going to give you the estimated equity in the property. Why is that important? Because if you know what the estimated equity is, you know you got room to negotiate. Also, if you're looking to take a property over subject to, the mortgage information is key. It's going to tell you the type of mortgage it is. Is it an FHA? Is it a VA? Is it conventional? It's going to tell you if it's 3 years along in the mortgage, 15 years along. If a mortgage is halfway through, so most mortgages are 30 years, meaning the payments are spread out over 30 years. If they've paid 15 years in that mortgage and you're taking over a subject to, those are great deals because most of the monthly payment is going towards principal pay down in that last 15 years. So most of the interest is paid up front. I find that really handy. This looks like it was like a neighborhood sale. Let's see. And it's telling you there's 22 properties on the market. So the other thing is you can start clicking. Let me slide this up. So if you look down here, it's going to give you the owners in Austin, Texas. If you want to reverse engineer, you could probably look up a phone number on the Texas state records or find out if that's a Florida corporation through the state website. And then it's just going to give you some basic information, which basically would tie to your local county property appraiser site, tell you what type of construction, if it's concrete, if it's stucco. This will just run through and give you comparison, actually very detailed comps. You can include public records. You can just do MLS if you want to figure out what the retail is going on there. You can create a list with this stuff. It'll tell you stuff with photos. It'll give you proximity where your property is. This information is literally gold. The amount of time you'd have to do research, working through public records, your county property appraiser site, and a realtor, that alone is worth the value in using Propstream. And this will give you detail on type of cash sale that went down. And then if you want to know the taxes on it, everything's, you can do this while you're actually on your phone. These are the tax assessed values. So it says it's $4,680. She tells you she's got a $4,300 tax bill. She's most likely telling you the truth. So guys, believe this or not, sometimes sellers actually lie to you. And this is a great way to use Propstream to verify their level of motivation to make sure you're getting the truth when it starts. So here's a really cool feature on the linked properties. If the seller owns more than one property, meaning that it is a company. Now this isn't typical, but since it was an LLC, it looks like they own over 20,000 properties. I don't know how accurate it is, but if the guy or the gal or the company owned 3 or 4 properties, it would pop up into this link. It'll tell you you're working with a landlord. And then if you want to click mortgage and transaction history, It's all right here. So it looks like they bought it in probably like a bulk REO and the cash. And if you want, you can download these documents. I think they charge you for them. You don't need to do it. You could actually go to public records and get it for free. So you don't have to collect that. I think in the document and the reports is where they want to charge you. So this looks like it's an entire development. It kind of gives you an analysis. Guys, I don't go this deep into it. I like using the initial analysis. If you want to print it, you can print it. You can do analysis. You can put tags in it and save it. If you want to print out like a comp report and say you have to use it to negotiate with your seller, you have hard data. In the old days, we used to actually get the data from a realtor. Or if you were like me, you would drag your wife along as the realtor and help solve these questions. Now, Propstream gives you the power to actually do all this. So simply what you want to do is use this to see if you even slightly have a deal. And the best way to do that, there's a Rehab Calculator here. I don't use it because I'm in the wholesale game. Most of my repairs are like in and out. I've always told you guys, if you have to use a calculator, you're probably paying too much for a property. So I'm going to advise you on not using that. If you guys want to be rehabbers, that's something you aspire to. But remember, rehab's a completely different business than wholesaling. It's an entire another business. So we're specifically talking about wholesaling. Okay. So this is it right here. It gives you the value. You got everything. You get a map. It'll give you comps all the way around there. You can zoom in. You can zoom out. There's a little tool. Now, you guys are probably like, what's this stuff on the bottom? This is more of like realtor stuff. I just kind of disregard it because I don't find it to be overly accurate. The only thing you can use is you can get an idea of what a cost per square foot in that market is. So we're down in the South Florida market, and it looks like it's hovering around $200 a square foot. So it kind of gives you a ballpark of what to expect on the comps. Once again, that's what I consider the retail. So I don't want to pay $200. I'm going to try to get a discounted rate, $100, $150 a square foot to come up with a correct deal. But we have room to negotiate. There's no mortgage. They paid cash. It's a company. Maybe it's a tired landlord. It just helps you quickly evaluate everything. It tells you how long the mortgage is. Guys, this is really great stuff. And we started using ListSource. I think we're in our second year right now. So this is relatively newer to us, but I only will promote things I use in my business and helps me make money. And you get a 7-day free trial period with it, listrei.com. And to be honest with you, when you're said and done, it's $97 a month. Just for this feature alone, it's worth. But I'm going to show you 2 other really cool features as soon as I'm done with this. So the next thing on here, you have an analytics. Don't get too deep in this. This is if you're, I like to use this when I'm in a virtual market, my local market. You know what the hot areas are. And then what I'll typically do, I want to do price growth. And I want to look for, so if you click this button here, you have to have a lot of data for this to work. And what this is going to try to show you is where trending neighborhoods are exploding in price points. And the idea is to draw you towards transitioning neighborhoods. So the easiest way is to start out on 5-year, and then you can cut down to 3 years. You can switch it over to satellite or a map view. And let's see if we can get this to work. Oops, too far out. So what's this doing? You see these color codes. You see reds and yellows. I'm going to switch this to 3 years. Oops. Now you can use price growth or estimated values. And the idea is, it's working a little bit slow. It's going to color code neighborhoods that are working for you. So I like to use price growth. The idea is just play around with this in the market you're working. Now, I do this for if I'm looking to identify trends in a virtual market, which this thing is really good for. So if you see the growth, you see all this red. What I'm looking for is red that butts up against like green and yellow. Once it hits red, you've pretty much missed the explosion. So Fort Lauderdale is a pretty well-populated area. This is probably the, so when we zoom out, I'll show you what we're looking for. So this is 5 years. And then what I'd do is dial it into 3 years. So you see these bright red, it means there's smoking hot areas and everyone's moving to them. Now, I actually grew up in Fort Lauderdale, so I still got a lot of family and everyone down there. So you see on these fringes right here, this is typically the red will usually start to bleed over and transition. You see how this green pocket is next to yellow? That's something I would probably take a look at. And that's the easiest way to do this. The idea is it's like a heat map. So let's cut it down to 3 years. Anything less than 3 years, it's really hard to, it takes time for transactions to hit. So now we're looking at the 3 years. So let me back out here a little bit. The further you go back, the more you can see the heat. So if I go up here by Pompano Beach, this right here is a really aspiring market, that bright red. So if I can find bright red butted up to like green, we have some opportunity on there. If you see green to like yellow or red, remember, red means you're dead. It's already identified. So you want to find stuff that's on the edge. Maybe if your property was like right in the middle of the bright red and they're motivated, it's going to indicate you it's going to be really easy to sell. And if you have to, you can get more aggressive on the price. But the analytics is really cool. If you just want to, what I suggest you do is go in your local market, test it out, see if the information makes sense to you. And then you can try it all over the country. If you're considering doing a virtual market, this is how the experts do the analysis on it. So we don't need to spend thousands of dollars and like weeks trying to research properties. I need information. And remember, this is dated information. It doesn't necessarily mean that's where it's going now, but trends usually, when a neighborhood's popping and everybody wants to move there, more and more money, more redevelopment goes there, and it tends to just grow and prosper over time. So that's about it on everything on comping the properties. Really easy. Guys, just go in here and put in the property address. The key with this is you have to put in the property address and it will pop up on the property just like this. And right here, I usually don't even go past this until my notes from my motivated seller match up to what I see on here. If the seller's asking for 450, showed no motivation, the estimate value is 275. I'm just going to try to weed them out, probably disqualify them, maybe put them in a follow-up to see if something changes. Maybe the property's motivated and the seller's not, then I put them in my follow-up. But if there's absolutely no motivation and it's a wish list, I'm going to move on to the next deal. And that's the purpose of using listrei.com, specifically Propstream, to be able to do this. So hopefully this is helping you guys out. Pause it, go back and look at it. The analytics, you can play with it, but you want to focus on price growth. Some of the other stuff, just the data is kind of all over the board. So, and then down here, this just kind of, I like to use the square foot, gives me an idea. If properties are trading for $100 a square foot, I know I need to be buying them at $50 to $75 a square foot to make a good wholesale deal work. So that's it on searching properties. There's a million toys to play on this one, but specifically, you as a wholesaler must have the ability to quickly identify if you're working with motivated sellers, and this is what we can do on that. So let's go to lists now. So let's say, since we did Fort Lauderdale, let's do Knoxville, Tennessee. So when I go under Knoxville, this is, so if you guys are asking, what's he talking about list? A list is nothing more than building a list of prospective homeowners that would most likely sell to you with some sign of motivation. So we don't want to spend thousands and thousands and hundreds of thousands of dollars marketing to all of Knoxville. What we need to do is come up first and establish our area. So let's get off of so this is the heat map. So I'm assuming say you're just from Knoxville. And remember, you'd use the heat map to identify, but we're not going to do this anymore. Let's switch the satellite and let's figure out how to turn off this. So Knoxville is kind of a broad area. So my suggestion to you, if you want to pick an area, you can start with a city. But depending on so if you look at this property list, it's 170,000. That's a lot. So my suggestion to you is find all the zip codes in that area and prioritize them on a sheet, preferably an Excel spreadsheet, and do it based on importance. And so if I live in a certain zip code and I know the price points, I know it's not easy to flip properties there, but I know they're selling with confidence. I'm going to start with my zip code and work my way slowly back out. So you can do it in a circle. In Florida, we have to go north and south, whichever way you want to do it. But the key is you understand the mechanics of how to work in Propstream to get the best motivated seller lists. So in the old days, we used to have to use a la carte services. So with this service, just so you know, after you get past your 7-day trial period, for $97, you get 10,000 leads a month. That's included in that price. Now, if we had to do 10,000 leads through Propstream, and say you even got a deal at 15 cents, let's say you've got, say you had a list of 5,000 people, that list would cost you, am I right? Can that be correct? Say if you had a list of 5,000 and say it cost you 15 cents a lead, which would be a good deal with them, it cost you $750. You get 10,000 in Propstream included in the $97, and you can do all the other features I'm teaching you. Pull up comps, do driving for dollars. Guys, it's a really powerful software. I don't know how you could do wholesaling without it, in my opinion. So here it is. You have your city. You can put in zip code. If you put in a zip code, you just put in a comma. I don't know the zip codes for Knoxville offhand. And then up here, it'll give you pre-filled these lists. These have automated filters built into them. So if you're worried about getting a cash buyers list, if you click this, it's going to give you all the cash transaction within that area. Now, it gives you the property and you can do the research on it, but it will tell you where the cash is going. So important in wholesaling. So if you want to build your cash buyer criteria list, this will even help you identify the zip codes. You see the zip code 37920, 37924, and the list just kind of go on when you do it. Also, I come down here and I'm looking at the average, probably about 120, 125 per square foot properties are trading for in that area. So we already have a head start. We spent no time. You spent $97, like you are so far ahead of it. If you want a quick and dirty list, which I do like, but I only do it twice a year, you can click the vacant list. These are properties that have been tagged by the United States Postal Service as not receiving mail. I know what you're probably saying. Hey, Rick, a lot of those are probably MLS properties. I'm going to show you how to go in the search filter and remove those properties from your list. But you got ones with liens. Liens are going to be code violations from the city, tax liens, mechanics liens, stuff like that, HOA liens, which are important, bank-owned ones. I don't really recommend that for wholesaling. It's a strategy, but to me, it's one of the harder paths you can do. Pre-foreclosures, auctions, just gives you an idea what stuff's selling for. And then high equity, which works really well as well too. So let's go ahead and click the high equity one because I like high equity. High equity works in every market. I don't care where you're at. And what it is, it's going to have predefined filters. So let's just go ahead and click the filter button. And I'm going to walk you through my high equity filter list. So keep in mind, I'm not charging you thousands of dollars. I'm going to give you step by step exactly how I do it. And hopefully you'll see the value in what we're doing. And my goal is to get you to your first or second or third or fourth or fifth wholesale deal without breaking your bank. And I've been doing this 18 years, and I'm telling you, literally do exactly what I do. And if you follow through, you will be blown away with the results. So the first thing is, do we care if it's owner occupied? I don't care. If you don't want it owner occupied, you click no. This is if I had to narrow my list down. Now this is a big list, so I'm probably going to narrow it down. If you guys, my theory on owner occupied versus absentee owner, the problem with absentee owners, those lists have been pounded so hard that everyone's pounding on them. And a lot of people forget about the regular home owner occupied properties. I find homeowners actually, they give you really good deals. So if you're running short on your list, do not filter out homeowner occupied. So you can do any. So let's just say I'm dropping in this market and I need to limit my list because I'm testing out a virtual market. So occupancy status, I'm just going to leave any because owner occupied, I put no. So if you watch, if I leave it at any, watch the number over here. So it does a rolling count. So I have 118,000 properties. I click, I only want, which basically absentee owners, and it cuts the list less than half right off the bat. So you can watch your screen and watch as you do the filtering while you're doing it, and you can learn from it. The next one, property characteristics. I always click residential. Let's see what happens to the list. Now we're down to 32,000. What that does is it's going to remove condos, townhomes, and mobile homes. Now, I'm not saying those deals won't work, but if you're just starting out and you're looking for single family homes, that's the path of least resistance. By the way, I do condos, townhomes, and mobile homes. And then once again, I'm going to click single family under here. I know it sounds duplicate. I just like to cover my basis. And if you want, I put in multifamily 2 to 4, and I'll include 5. So I know Tennessee's got a lot of multifamily. So we're at 25,000 now. So on here, if you want to filter the bedrooms and the bathrooms, it's completely up to you. The only reason I would filter this out if you're looking for a specific property or you need to narrow your list down further, I wouldn't mess with this in the beginning. If you don't like HOAs and they freak you out, which in Florida, they're a pain in the butt, but they're a necessary evil. If you just want to exclude them to narrow your list down, we were at 25,000 before. Let's see what it does to our number count. It only took off like 4,000 properties, so no big deal. So, and then right here, this is a running snapshot of your filter so far. So right now, we're creating a high equity list. Owner occupied, no, which means the absentee owner, single family residential and multi, and we're excluding HOA. So guys, when you go through your lists, your criteria list, you just go through them in sequential order. So the next one, MLS, really powerful feature. You can't use this on list source with CoreLogic. It doesn't let you do it. This is what I really like about this one. On market, I click no. I do not want to be mailing to, cold calling, or texting properties that are on the market. So let's see what happens to our number. Only took off a couple hundred. This alone saves you a lot of hassle. I hate when realtors call me because rarely when the property is listed is it a motivated seller. And if it is a motivated seller, that realtor is going to create such chaos in your life. It's typically not worth it in my 18 years experience. So below market price, I don't touch any of those. That's everything on MLS. You have a pre-foreclosure bank-owned property. Let's see. I just kind of leave this alone. I find it doesn't really filter much out. The next most important one is ownership information. So I'm going to share with you, this is kind of the secret sauce. So if you've paid attention to this point, I'm going to reward you. So first, go to listrei.com, get your free trial version. And then under years of ownership, this is so refreshing. You want someone, here's the secret number. It's 4. I find when people own a property at least 4 years, there's usually some form of equity in there. and they're willing to sell you the property. Keep in mind, if they just bought the property 6 months ago and you don't put this in, you're going to be marketing to new home sellers. They just paid a fortune with the realtor of the property. Don't waste your time with them. Like, this will save you a ton of time. When I started back in 2003, we always put 10 years. Now I'm down to 4, and right now we're experimenting with 3 years. I wouldn't go much lower than that because remember, when you buy a property, the closing cost, the realtor cost, all those expenses, the last thing they want to do is give the property away. So if you just put in 4 and leave it there, you're fine, and you'll see it cut us down to 18,000. So we're dwindling our list down. So this is great. So types of owner, definitely individual. And then I'm okay with it being in a trust. That's usually when the family puts it in a trust as some sort of asset planning. That typically indicates they've owned the property for a long time. In the beginning, I would just avoid, you can put corporate ones on there. Let's see what that moves the number up to. It was 15,000 there before. That goes up to 18,000. I'm trying to get this list down. So I like to do individual and trust. Trusts are owned by an individual. It's the same thing. It's just kind of like a lawyer move. So don't be scared of any type of trust. They have the same power to sell them. If you want to go over here, you can pick absentee. If you just want to do out-of-state owners, which isn't a bad play. So if you want to narrow the list down, let's see what happens to the number on the right-hand side. We were at 15,000. This should cut it way down, right? So let's see how many out-of-state owners. That instantly cuts your list down to 851. It's probably going to be too narrow because it's just one city, so I'm going to take it off of there. But just to show you how it went. Interfamily transfers, don't worry about it. It doesn't really make a difference. Lien, bankruptcy, divorce, I've already told you, divorces are some of the most difficult properties you can buy. Bankruptcies can be very tricky and difficult. And like liens, we're looking for equity in the property. So, Rick, how do we put the equity filter on it? You're going to go over to this valuation and equity information. And here we go. So there's 2 features I like to use in here. So we are going to do the estimated equity percentage. Here is the golden nugget, 40%. And you can leave the max because the max automatically goes to 100. If you don't trust the computer, we're at 15,008. Watch when I put in 100, it should say the same number. 15,008. So you don't have to put this. You can just leave it at max, but I'll leave it there since it's there. So you should actually test every filter and be comfortable with like your data, because remember, your marketing, your ability to flip properties is only as good as the lists that you can pull. And it took me an entire year to trust Propstream when I transitioned over from ListSource, because I figured ListSource always did well for me. If Propstream doesn't work, it's going to cost me a fortune. So I split tested them for basically 9 months, and I got better results using Propstream with listrei.com. Okay, so that's your estimated equity. Now, if I need to narrow my list down more, I can do that, but let's go on to the next one. Find out what the average price point in your community here. So without me backtracking on this, there's the average price point is 125, and you figure probably the average house is going to be 15 to 1,600 square feet. That means the average price point would be 200,000. That's the high and lows. Now, I don't want you marketing to $1 million houses, $800,000 houses. They're typically not going to respond to a wholesaler. So what I'm going to do is I usually put like a $10,000 minimum value. Maybe there's some old tax rolls on it. And then the maximum estimated value, maybe I'll put $210,000. And so let's see what happens to our number in the upper right. It's like a drum roll. We're at 11,416. So what I might do is narrow this down a little bit more. So say you want to get a list down to, so let's take it down to 175. And remember, these are the numbers that you need to be comfortable doing your deals at. So you don't want to go way outside your price range. So now we're down to 9,378. So, okay, let's tighten it up a little bit more. Let's do 160 and see what that does to our number. And this is how you use the filter to narrow down to get a list that fits your budget. Now, just because you have the ability to pull 10,000 leads, you have to decide what you're going to do with them. Are you going to mail to them? There's a cost to that. Are you going to skip trace them for cold calling and SMS? There's a cost to that. So you don't have to use all 10,000 because there's going to be a cost to go ahead and market to these people. So keep that in consideration. So we're down to 8,306. So I want to narrow that down. I want to get down to, let's say 5,000. So I'm going to go up to people that have 55% equity or higher. And we're at 8206. Okay. I'm going to do 60. I'm not going to go any higher. And then I'm going to change it. So I like to play around with the estimated value and the equity filter the most, between 40 and 70%. And the estimated value, you can play around with that. I'll take this down to 150. Remember, I want the most targeted list for my budget. So just because you get 10,000 with Propstream doesn't mean you need to utilize them all, because remember, you have to skip trace them or you have to mail to them, text them, whatever you need to do. So we're at 7323. Let's see. So let's go back under ownership information. Here's another one you can do. I find if an owner owns more than 4 properties or more, they're usually a big time landlord and you're not going to get a great deal. So the maximum properties, I'm going to cut this down to 4 and see what happens. Wow. So there's a lot of landlords. So you guys just see that number went from 3,766. If I take it off, 3766. I got to do some numbers here. 7. That means there's 3,557 landlords that owned 4 or more properties. That's actually amazing. So maybe let's set the max amount of properties at 7. Let's see. I love doing stuff like this because now you know there is a lot of rental properties in Knoxville. So we're at basically 4,700. Let's change it to maybe 6. Let's put it back to 7. Okay, we're getting there. Guys, this is how you pull lists. Now, the beauty is you can actually save your filter and give it a name. And that way you only have to pull it once. But remember, always make sure you check your filters here. Every time you change a market, some of the criteria is going to change depending on the size of your list and how you want to attack it. Usually when you attack a virtual market, you want to do kind of small list and test area out before you go all in. This one is for mortgage information. I never use it. Don't need it. If you want to find just cash sales and stuff like that. So we're at 4797. We have a list to start with. And this is your list criteria. And so what you can do is actually save everything. What you do is go into save the search, and then you give it a label, and then you have your search. And then when you come back over, but if you go in My Properties, you'll see your list campaigns. And from there, you can export them. And it'll tell you get up to 10,000 exports per month. And it's really, really that simple. You want to spend the most amount of time as you can on pulling your marketing list. It's absolutely critical data. So what I showed you, how you play around with the list, how you increase a filter, decrease a filter. I gave you the most important ones in there. If you missed it or you're halfway through the video, go back and replay it. Most gurus or coaches would charge you a fortune for this stuff. So we've taught you how to evaluate the comps and how to quickly assess if you even potentially have a deal. Number 2, I showed you how to pull your list, how to go into virtual markets, and how to look at the data. And then I taught you how to do the filters, the most important filters. Screenshot it, guys. It's all in there. This is what I use in my business, and you guys can use to make it work. And then we're going to move in the last section and teach you the Driving for Dollars app. Okay, guys. And finally, I'm going to show you the last feature, which is really cool. And it's made a tremendous difference in our business, is Propstream has come out with a really cool app for Driving for Dollars. You guys are probably seeing it on the screen. Figure this out. But all you have to do is basically, this is an app that's in your phone and it connects to your Propstream software. So when you're out mobily, you can click on Drive and you just hit Drive. I'm not going to hit Drive here because it's going to populate a lot of all my personal stuff. But you hit just Drive there and you have the ability to click Driving for Dollars. You can capture properties. It will upload addresses. It'll put it on a special list for you. If you want to work with like bird dogs or having people help you collect properties driving for dollars, I've tried a lot of apps and I got to be honest with you, it's pretty killer. It's just check it out. And by the way, that comes with your listrei.com membership, all in your $97. Remember, you get the first 7 days free. So check this out. It's really cool. It'll work with your Propstream software. So let's just review in summary here real quick. You have the ability to quickly, within seconds, evaluate a property to see if you want to move forward. And it helps you vet your sellers, helps you qualify and mostly disqualify the ones that are wasting your time or not telling you the truth. That feature alone is well worth it. Moving on to the second part of that equation, if you're doing virtual markets, it will help you evaluate data using the analytics feature, which I showed you in this video. Just refer back to it towards the beginning. I did it in the beginning of the video. It's really great stuff. Tells you which areas are trending. And that's great when you're entering markets that you're unsure of and you need to collect data. It's all within Propstream. Next, which is a very, very important feature, is your ability to pull motivated sellers list. And within Propstream, you can pull up to 10,000 per month. And what I did is showed you step by step on how I use it in my business. And the most important part of that is using the filters. I showed you the exact filters. These are filters that not every, but most coaches and stuff are going to hold back until you pay them a sizable fee to show you how to do it. I show you step by step how to do it. Why? Because I want you to get your first deal. I don't think there should be barriers in today's society to get your first deal. You don't need to spend thousands of dollars to have someone tell you how to do it. Let me just show you, because I do this business every day. Me and Zach are on the ground and we love what we do and we want to share with it. We think there's just too many obstacles that get in your way. Paying a coach is not going to guarantee your success. And last but not least, the Driving for Dollars app. You're just going to click on Just Drive, and I'm not going to click that because it drops everything, and it'll have everything there for you. And now you can actually use a Propstream Driving for Dollars app that will integrate with your Propstream software, and that allows you to slay 3 dragons with one software. Guys, I've been waiting 18 years for stuff like this. I've never seen anything better than it. I use it in my business. I don't endorse a lot of products, but I'm going to tell you, I'm going on my second, I'm 2 years into using Propstream and I love it. If you guys want to do the exact same thing I did, remember, I don't have a coaching program for you. I'm just here to show you how you can easily profit your first wholesaling deal without spending tens of thousands of dollars to have someone coach you. So go ahead, go to listrei.com. That's listrei.com. You get a free 7-day trial version of it. And after that, it's $97 a month. It is a huge win. You get all 3 features packed in one software. I use it in my business. You guys know I'm here to shed light on the truth instead of making this wholesaling business. People make it so complicated. You don't need to spend $3,000, $5,000, $7,000, or $10,000. Just tune in to Flip with Rick, and I'm going to share all the secrets and tricks I use in my 18 years of business as an active wholesaler. I want to thank everybody for trusting in me and Zach, and go ahead, sign up for your listrei.com. Go ahead and take advantage of the Propstream offer and use my tutorial videos to show you how to use Propstream as the ultimate tool towards your wholesaling real estate investing business. This is Rick Ginn with Flip with Rick. Guys, if you like the content, you like what I hear, hit that like button, smash that subscribe button. If you have a comment, are you using Propstream? Do you want to see more videos? Because guys, there's a whole lot more. I'm just showing you the surface in Propstream. I'm showing you the tools to cut through all the noise to get you your first payday in wholesaling. This is Rick Ginn with Flip with Rick. I'll see you soon.